Welcome back, dear listeners, to the deep dive. Today, we're actually reaching a really special milestone.
We are indeed.
We're wrapping up our, well, pretty extensive journey through the Baha'i Faith's Ruhi Book study series, specifically Book 3, which is titled Teaching Children's Classes.
That's right, Book 3.
And for those maybe new to our deep dives, the Ruhi books are just incredible set of materials. They're designed to, cultivate spiritual capacities and foster service.
Mm-hmm.
And Book 3 in particular really focuses on nurturing the hearts and minds of the youngest among us.
Yes, a crucial focus.
This final deep dive into Book 3 is, I think, incredibly unique. We're going to be unearthing the profound wisdom tucked away in what might seem like simple coloring pages from that book.
Right, the coloring pages. You might glance at them and think, oh, that's nice for the kid.
Exactly. But don't let the simplicity fool you. These aren't just pretty words. They are foundational spiritual building blocks. Concise yet powerful verses that lay an essential groundwork for character development and spiritual understanding.
Absolutely. Foundational is the key word.
So if you've been following our series, you know we've already covered so much in parts 1, 2, and 3 of Book 3. So, do catch up if you haven't to really fully appreciate this concluding exploration.
And our mission today, our goal, is to truly distill the essence of each of these quotes. We're not just, reading words off a page.
No.
We're dissecting their deeper meaning, exploring how they resonate with young minds, and then, perhaps most importantly, understanding their profound significance within a life dedicated to spiritual growth and service. What's truly illuminating here, I think, is how these concise statements, presented in a format that's accessible to children, actually hold layers of wisdom absolutely crucial for anyone seeking to build a virtuous character.
Anyone, yes. Not just for kids' classes.
Exactly. We want to uncover those aha moments that might surprise you, regardless of your background. We'll take each quote, break down its essence, consider how it touches young hearts, and then elevate it to its significance within the broader Baha'i teachings.
That sounds like a fantastic mission for this deep dive. It's really amazing how much depth can be found in something presented so simply. Okay, let's unpack our first counsel then. Diving into the foundations of inner character. So our very first quote, and this one feels like a foundational cornerstone. "O son of spirit, my first counsel is this. Possess a pure, kindly, and radiant heart." This is from Baha'u'llah's The Hidden Words.
Right. And what's truly profound about this first counsel isn't just the virtues themselves, pure, kindly, radiant, but the actual sequence.
The order matters.
It seems to subtly suggest a kind of spiritual alchemy, First, the address, O Son of Spirit. That's God speaking directly, intimately to the core of our being, acknowledging our inherent spiritual nature.
Okay.
Then a pure heart that's a necessary vessel. Not just innocent, like a child might be, but actively free from the clutter of malice, prejudice, selfish desires. It's like a clean, unobstructed channel ready to receive divine light.
A clean vessel. I like that.
But then it moves to active kindness, benevolence, compassion, a natural leaning towards goodwill. That's how the potential for goodness in that pure heart is, fully realized.
So purity allows for kindness.
Or perhaps kindness flows from purity. And it's this combination, this intentional inner work, keeping the heart pure and the outward benevolence being kind, that then creates a natural, undeniable radiance.
So radiance isn't just passive, it's created.
Exactly. Spiritual luminosity isn't just a gift handed to you. It's a cultivated state. It's a heart that actively shines because of its inner clarity and its outward love.
That idea of radiance being cultivated through purity and kindness is really fascinating. But for our listener, especially thinking about, how you'd explain this to children, how do you actually start that cultivation? How do we help a child grasp what a pure heart means in their daily world beyond just like a nice abstract idea?
Well, I think it's more tangible than we might think for a child. A pure heart for a young one isn't about being perfect, not at all. It's about being free from things that cloud their natural joy, like holding on to anger or feeling really jealous.
Okay, things that make them feel yucky inside.
Pretty much. So when they apologize sincerely after a disagreement, or maybe decide not to hold a grudge against a friend who upset them, that's them actively cleaning their heart. They're choosing purity in that moment.
Right. Taking action.
And similarly, a kindly heart for a child. You see it all the time. sharing a toy without being asked, or running over to comfort a friend who's crying. Those are acts of kindness.
Simple but powerful.
Definitely. And the radiance, that's that infectious laughter you hear, the genuine enthusiasm they have for things, the unconditional love they so naturally offer. When we notice and affirm these actions, wow, that was so kind of you to share, it makes me so happy when you laugh like that. We help them connect their inner state to their outward behavior.
Ah, making the link explicit.
Exactly. Showing them how their heart, their pure and kindly heart, can indeed light up a room.
So it's less about being born perfect and more about making these active choices day to day and seeing the positive impact?
Precisely.
And how does this specific quote, being God's first counsel, how does that set the stage for all the other spiritual development in a life dedicated to these Baha'i principles? What's the foundational importance here that maybe, might surprise us?
Well, the insight, I think, is that this isn't just one virtue sitting alongside others. It's presented as the primordial one.
Primordial. Wow.
It essentially says, before you embark on any other spiritual journey, any other practice, establish this inner core first. Get the heart right.
The starting point.
Absolutely. The heart is often seen as the mirror of God in the Baha'i teachings. So a pure, kindly, radiant heart. Well, that's a mirror that can reflect divine attributes with the greatest clarity and strength.
That makes sense. A clean mirror reflects better.
It speaks directly to that core Baha'i teaching, that inner transformation is the absolutely indispensable basis for any meaningful outer change in the world.
Yeah.
You can't build a peaceful world with hearts full of prejudice or selfishness.
Right. The change starts within.
And if you think about the grand vision of the oneness of humankind, a pure heart is naturally free from the seeds of prejudice. A kindly heart instinctively extends empathy and embraces everyone. And a radiant heart shares joy universally, without distinction.
So it's the internal blueprint.
Exactly, the internal blueprint for a harmonious external world. It shows that the deepest social change, the kind the world desperately needs, truly begins with the individual heart.
That's a truly powerful beginning. So, okay, from cultivating the heart, let's move to how we navigate the world with fairness. Our next quote is, "Tread ye the path of justice, for this, verily, is the straight path." From Baha'u'llah's tablets.
Tread ye the path of justice.
Yeah.
The word tread implies it's an active, ongoing process, doesn't it?
Yeah, not just stand on the path.
Right. It's about upholding fairness and equity in all our dealings, constantly, continuously striving to do what is right. It requires vigilance, conscious effort.
It's not passive.
Not at all. And the phrase straight path is crucial here. It implies correctness, righteousness, the most direct, unswerving way to achieve both spiritual and societal well-being. It's the path of truth, of integrity, free from deviation or compromise.
So no cutting corners on justice.
Exactly. And this isn't just about following external laws, though that's part of it. It's about embodying an inner sense of what is right and fair in every single situation. It's like having an internal compass guiding your every step.
Okay, an inner compass. And children, it's surprising, but they encounter justice or sometimes injustice daily, right? Even in their simple interactions.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, think about sharing toys, taking turns in a game, understanding playground rules. These are all like micro lessons in justice.
They really are. The playground can be a complex social laboratory.
So we can teach children to be fair, obviously, but also maybe to advocate for what's right when they see something unfair happening, and to start understanding that their actions have consequences for fairness.
Yes, fostering that sense of responsibility.
It's like playing a game by the rules you explain. If everyone follows them, everyone gets a fair chance, and actually the game is more fun for everyone.
Right. Fairness enhances the experience.
But beyond just rules, how do we help them develop that really crucial sense of empathy to truly understand other people's perspectives in a conflict? Because that seems vital for seeking true justice, not just, winning their own argument.
That's exactly where the treading comes in again. It's a practice. You have to walk in those shoes, metaphorically.
Right.
So for children, you can start with simple scenarios. Okay, what's the fair thing to do when two friends both want the same swing? You guide them to consider both perspectives, help them step outside their own immediate desire for a moment.
How would you feel if...
Exactly. And in Baha'i teachings, justice isn't just, a nice virtue to have. It's a cardinal principle. It's unequivocally declared as the foundation of the world.
The foundation. That's huge.
It means it's not merely about legal systems or external regulations, although those are necessary. It's an inherent spiritual quality that must be cultivated within each individual.
So it's internal first.
Yes, and that straight path connects directly to divine guidance, divine law. It underscores that justice is the means by which order and harmony are established in human society. Without it, trust just erodes and conflict inevitably reigns. Justice provides the structure that allows love and community to actually flourish.
That makes perfect sense. You need that stable, fair environment for anything good to grow. Which I guess brings us neatly to our next section, diving into the power of love and truth. Okay, our third quote, this one from Baha'u'llah's Hidden Words again. It paints such a vivid picture. "O friend, in the garden of thy heart, plant not but the rose of love."
The imagery there is just incredibly rich, isn't it?
Yeah.
Profound.
It really is.
The garden of thy heart. Right away, it establishes the heart as this fertile ground, a place where spiritual qualities can be actively cultivated, nurtured, grown.
Like tending a real garden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when it says to plant not but the rose of love, that's a powerful, almost exclusive directive. It's saying love is the primary, the most beautiful, the most essential virtue to cultivate above all others.
Not but the rose.
Precisely. Which implicitly means actively excluding, weeding out those negative emotions, hatred, anger, jealousy, prejudice, things that would otherwise choke that delicate rose of love.
So it's active gardening, planting the good, weeding the bad.
Absolutely. Love in this context isn't just a fleeting emotion, like being in love. It's a profound, enduring spiritual quality that should dominate our inner landscape, coloring every single interaction we have.
And children, they seem to grasp love so intuitively, don't they?
They really do.
They understand love for their family, their friends, their pets. It's very natural for them. But how do we encourage them to extend that love universally, even to those who are different, or maybe those they find difficult to get along with? It's one thing to feel love, it's another to act from it, especially in tricky situations.
That's the beauty of the garden analogy, I think. You could explain that a real garden needs constant care. You have to weed out negative thoughts and actions, just like pulling out actual weeds, to allow that beautiful rose of love to truly flourish.
So tending the inner garden.
Yes. For children, it's about showing them that when they choose kindness or compassion for everyone, not just their best friends, they're nurturing that rose. They're making their inner garden beautiful and fragrant.
Connecting their actions to that inner state.
And in the Baha'i teachings, love is considered the very essence of God, the driving force of all spiritual reality. So this quote emphasizes universal love as the foundational basis for unity and brotherhood among all peoples. It highlights the transformative power of love, not just as an emotion, but as a guiding principle that informs and directs all our actions.
So it's more than just feeling love.
It's about acting from a place of love, consciously choosing love. We can ask children, how can you show love through service? Or share stories about people who really exemplified love, especially in challenging circumstances, showing that love is an active, not passive force.
That makes profound sense. Love isn't just a feeling, it's something you actively do. And what about truth? That feels like the other essential pillar here. Our next quote, quote 4, is from Abdu'l-Bahá, cited by Shoghi Effendi. Truthfulness is the foundation of all human virtues.
This is a profoundly significant statement. It's almost like a spiritual axiom, a fundamental truth.
Foundation of all human virtues.
Exactly. Truthfulness here encompasses honesty in word, in deed, integrity, reliability. It means being genuine, consistent in our character.
Okay.
And to say it's the foundation of all human virtues, well, that elevates it beyond simply being a virtue among many. It suggests that without truthfulness, all the other virtues we admire, justice, kindness, trustworthiness, loyalty, they can't stand firm. They lack a solid base.
Like building a house on shaky ground.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's the bedrock, the essential underpinning upon which a virtuous character and, by extension, a just society are built. If that foundation is shaky, if it's built on untruth, everything built upon it will eventually crumble. The surprising insight here might be that truthfulness isn't just about moral uprightness, it's about the structural integrity of character itself.
The structural integrity, I like that. It makes it clear how crucial it is. But sometimes, especially for children, that line between an untruth and maybe protecting someone's feelings can feel a bit blurry. The so-called white lie.
Right, that's a common dilemma.
How do these teachings help us navigate those complex situations? And perhaps, how is truthfulness even more profound than simply not lying in the Baha'i context?
That's a crucial distinction. For children, the concept of telling the truth is usually pretty straightforward initially. We teach them to be honest even when they've made a mistake or they're afraid of the
Yeah,
consequence.
the basic don't lie.
But the Baha'i teachings suggest truthfulness is far more expansive than just factual accuracy. It's really about aligning one's inner self with one's outer self being genuine, authentic.
Inner and outer alignment.
Yes. Regarding white lies, the teachings generally advocate for a truthfulness tempered with kindness and wisdom. So rather than outright lying to spare feelings, one might choose silence, or perhaps find a gentle, indirect way to express a difficult truth, aiming always to avoid causing unnecessary harm. It's a call to thoughtful truthfulness.
Thoughtful truthfulness. That's a useful phrase.
And this principle is absolutely central in the Baha'i faith. It's considered essential for individual spiritual progress and for building trust in all relationships and ultimately throughout society. It's also seen as a direct reflection of God's attribute of truth.
Reflecting God's truth.
And interestingly, it also connects to another Baha'i principle, the independent investigation of truth-seeking reality for oneself, free from blind imitation or tradition.
Ah, okay.
So, this really raises an important question, doesn't it? How does untruthfulness, even in seemingly small ways, erode trust? Not just between individuals, but in every aspect of life, from families right up to nations. When trust is lost, so much else collapses.
It really does.
We can help children understand this by discussing scenarios like, okay, you accidentally broke something. What's the fair and truthful thing to do? What happens if you lie about it? And then talking through the positive outcomes, long term, of choosing truth, even when it's hard.
Building that foundation early. It's clear these virtues build on each other, creating a strong spiritual structure. Truthfulness isn't just a rule, it's a pathway. All right, let's move into our third section, exploring generosity, selflessness, and joy qualities that really radiate outward. All right, our fifth quote is, "To give and to be generous are attributes of mine. Well is it with him that adorneth himself with my virtues." This is from Baha'u'llah's tablets.
This quote reveals something quite profound, I think, that to give and to be generous are direct attributes of mine, meaning they are inherent qualities of God himself.
Not just human qualities, but divine ones.
Exactly, which immediately elevates generosity from just being a good deed to being a divine characteristic that we are actually called to reflect in our own lives.
Wow.
So when Baha'u'lláh says, well, is it with him that adorneth himself with my virtues, he's inviting us, calling us to mirror these divine qualities, to essentially become more godlike in our character through practicing generosity.
It's an invitation to transformation.
Yes, urging us to consciously cultivate these attributes as expressions of our true, noble selves. The aha here, perhaps, is realizing that generosity isn't just about sharing stuff. It's about connecting with the very nature of the divine.
Expert, that idea of generosity as a divine attribute is so powerful. How do we help children who often naturally experience the joy of giving anyway? How do we help them consciously connect that feeling to this deeper spiritual wellspring? It's one thing to share a toy. It's another to understand the profound spiritual act behind it.
Well, I think it comes down to making that connection explicit for them. We start with their instinctive joy of giving, which you rightly point out is often quite natural.
Yeah, they often love giving presents.
Exactly. You can highlight moments where they share a favorite toy or offer a snack to a friend or maybe just give their time and attention to someone who needs it.
Okay.
Then we gently help them understand that generosity isn't just about material things. It's a spirit of abundance, a willingness to share whatever we have, whether it's big or small.
A spirit of abundance.
We can use that analogy of giving a gift. It genuinely makes both the giver and the receiver happy, right? It makes your heart feel good. And that feeling, that inner warmth, is a strong motivator for children to continue being generous.
Reinforcing the positive feeling.
And for a Baha'i, this quote really emphasizes the spiritual nature of generosity. It transcends mere charity, becomes an act of worship. It's about cultivating detachment from material possessions, not being overly attached to stuff, and recognizing that all blessings, tangible or intangible, ultimately come from God.
Seeing God as the source.
Yes. And that perspective fosters a deep sense of gratitude. and encourages a life of giving, knowing that in sharing, we are reflecting divine grace. This cultivates a community founded on mutual support and reciprocity, which is essential for any thriving society.
It builds connection.
Absolutely. We can use illustrative examples, like children sharing their lunch with a classmate who forgot theirs, or drawing pictures to cheer up someone who's feeling down, to show them how their small acts of generosity embody these divine virtues.
Beautiful. And from generosity, which kind of extends outwardly, we move to a principle that feels more about internal sacrifice. Quote, 6. Blessed is he who preferreth his brother before himself. This is from Abdu'l-Bahá.
Preferreth his brother before himself. That's a powerful call to selflessness, to altruism.
Preferring others.
Yes, it means actively prioritizing the needs and well-being of others, our brothers, which in the Baha'i context really extends to sisters, friends, and indeed all humanity over our own immediate desires or personal comfort.
Putting others first.
Exactly. And the phrase, blessed is he, indicates that this specific action brings profound spiritual reward and inner happiness and divine favor that actually far outweighs any personal sacrifice involved. It's a challenging, yes, but deeply transformative spiritual practice. It reminds us that true fulfillment often comes not from getting, but from giving, from putting others first.
You know, this quote immediately brings to mind a moment I saw recently. 2 little kids were playing, and one had the only toy they both really, really wanted.
Ah, the classic scenario.
Right. And instead of a fight breaking out, one child, after just a moment of looking at the toy, simply handed it over and said, "You go first."
Oh.
And the look on the other child's face, but also the quiet, satisfaction in the giver, it was a real-life illustration of this very principle. Expert, how do we nurture that kind of spontaneous selflessness in children, especially given that childhood can often feel, quite naturally egocentric?
That's a perfect example, and it highlights that selflessness isn't always about grand, dramatic gestures. It's often found in those small daily choices.
The little moments.
Exactly. This teaching helps children understand the concept of empathy and how to put others first in simple, everyday ways. It could be letting a friend go first on the slide, like in your example,
Yeah.
or sharing the last piece of cake without being prompted, or just comforting someone who is sad, putting their own play aside for a moment.
Small acts, big lessons.
Profound lessons, yes. These small acts actively counteract that natural egocentrism that's common in childhood. They gently nurture a community spirit, a sense of shared well-being among them. It's about showing them, through experience, how good it feels to make someone else happy.
The reward is intrinsic.
Yes, and this is a powerful teaching on self-sacrifice and the paramount importance of the community over purely individual gain. It's crucial for building a harmonious society where mutual support and collective well-being are paramount. If we think about the grand design of a peaceful world, this principle of preferring others is foundational. It reinforces the spiritual unity of mankind, where we see others not as competitors, but as integral parts of one vast human family.
A truly transformative thought, imagining a world where that principle was really the norm. Now let's wrap up this section with a look at joy, which seems like a natural companion to generosity and selflessness. Quote, 7. O Son of Man, rejoice in the gladness of thine heart, that thou mayest be worthy to meet me and to mirror forth my beauty. This is from Baha'u'llah's Hidden Words.
Here, rejoice in the gladness of thine heart. It's presented as a spiritual imperative, an instruction.
Not just a suggestion, but a command.
Almost, yes. To actively cultivate inner joy and happiness, a profound state of spiritual contentment. It's not just about fleeting pleasure, like getting a new toy, but an abiding inner light.
Okay, a deeper kind of joy.
And the reason given is fascinating. That thou mayest be worthy to meet me and to mirror forth my beauty. This reveals that this cultivated joy is actually a prerequisite for establishing a deep spiritual connection with God and for reflecting his divine attributes, his beauty. A sorrowful, troubled heart, the implication is less able to perceive and reflect that divine beauty.
So joy makes us better mirrors.
In a sense, yes. The surprising insight here is that joy, in this context, isn't just a feeling that happens to us passively. It's presented as a spiritual duty, a means to draw closer to the divine, an active choice we make to be receptive to God's beauty.
A spiritual duty. That's interesting. Children are often naturally joyful, aren't they? Full of gladness.
Very often, yes.
So this quote encourages them, maybe, to hold on to that innate happiness. And to understand that gladness can actually be a choice, a way to connect with the divine. We can teach them gratitude as a powerful source of joy, helping them identify the simple, everyday blessings that make them happy.
Gratitude and joy are deeply linked.
It's like that analogy. A happy, shining face makes others happy too, just like a mirror reflects light. When their hearts are full of genuine joy, they become clearer mirrors, reflecting that divine light, that beauty into the world around them.
Exactly. For a Baha'i, joy isn't merely a fleeting emotion. It's understood as a spiritual state that allows for a greater connection to God. This teaching highlights happiness as a spiritual duty, an active recognition of the bounties of God, rather than just a passive reaction to pleasant external circumstances.
An active recognition.
Yes. And this quote powerfully reinforces that idea of human beings as spiritual mirrors, uniquely capable of reflecting divine perfections. Which raises an important question for all of us. How can we consistently cultivate inner gladness, even amidst life's inevitable challenges, knowing it's a pathway to deeper spiritual connection and a clearer reflection of divine beauty? For children, we can discuss what truly makes their hearts glad, distinguishing between, say, getting a new video game and the joy that comes from an act of kindness, appreciating nature's beauty, or simply spending quality time with loved ones, helping them differentiate between superficial pleasure and that deeper spiritual joy.
That's a profound shift in perspective, seeing joy as a spiritual duty rather than just a feeling. It's an active choice, a proactive cultivation. Okay, let's move into our next set of virtues in section 4, honesty, humility, and gratitude. All right, our 8th quote is, "We should at all times manifest our truthfulness and sincerity." This comes from a tablet of Abdu'l-Bahá.
This short but really potent quote adds a crucial dimension to our earlier discussion on truthfulness. Well, the phrase "at all times" stresses the absolute necessity of consistency. Truthfulness isn't supposed to be situational or just when it's convenient.
Right, not just when it suits us.
It demands a constant, unwavering commitment, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. And furthermore, the word manifest our truthfulness and sincerity, means it's not enough to simply believe in honesty internally. We have to outwardly demonstrate it through our words, our actions, our genuine intentions.
Showing it, not just feeling it.
Exactly. Sincerity ensures that our internal state actually aligns with our external expression. It prevents hypocrisy and fosters authenticity. So the profound insight here is that truthfulness isn't a passive state of being. It's an active, continuous performance, if you will, in the drama of our lives.
A continuous performance of authenticity. This is such an important message for children, isn't it? Constantly reinforcing the idea of truthfulness in every aspect of their lives. At home, at school, with friends, even when they think nobody's watching.
Yes, especially then, perhaps.
It helps them understand that sincerity means their words genuinely match their actions and their feelings. You know, when they say they're sorry, they should genuinely feel it. When they promise something, they should really intend to keep it.
Building integrity.
And this consistent manifestation, it builds a reputation for reliability and trust among their peers and with adults, which is just incredibly valuable for their relationships and their overall well-being as they grow.
Indeed. This quote echoes and strengthens that earlier teaching about truthfulness being the foundation, but it adds this critical dimension of constant manifestation.
Right.
Sincerity is also vital in both service and worship within the Baha'i faith. It ensures that our actions are done purely for God, not for seeking praise or personal gain.
Motivation matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this unwavering commitment to truthfulness and sincerity builds communities of profound trust and integrity. And those are absolutely essential for any flourishing civilization.
Can't have a functioning society without trust.
Which leads to an important question for us. How might our personal relationships and indeed our wider society transform if everyone consistently manifested both truthfulness and sincerity in every single interaction, building those bridges of genuine connection?
It's a powerful thought.
We can discuss with children how they can show sincerity, for instance, when they apologize or when they promise to do something, helping them understand the real weight and power behind their words and actions.
Building that foundation of trust and integrity from the start. Now, for a virtue that's maybe less often discussed, humility. Some might even misunderstand it as weakness. Quote 9, "O son of man, Humble thyself before me, that I may graciously visit thee. From Baha'u'llah's Hidden Words again.
Right. When Baha'u'lláh says, humble thyself before me, it's easy, I think, to misunderstand this, to think it means self-deprecation, diminishing one's own worth.
Yeah, like thinking less of yourself.
But actually, in the Baha'i context, it's understood more as finding freedom. It's about shedding the heavy burden of ego and arrogance, recognizing the vastness of divine greatness, and crucially, aligning our will with something infinitely wiser than our own limited perspective.
So it's about perspective, not self-belittling.
Exactly. Think of it as creating an empty space within yourself, a state of receptivity. And the incredible promise attached is, if we do that, if we truly humble ourselves, then a divine presence, a deeper grace, can graciously visit us.
God's presence comes to the humble.
That's the promise. So the aha here is that humility isn't about becoming less. It's about becoming more receptive, more capable of being filled with divine blessings, precisely because we've made room for them by setting aside our ego.
That's a beautiful way to reframe it. Expert humility actually enabling strength, not signifying weakness, creating space for growth. For children, though, how do we introduce this concept of modesty without making them feel small or unimportant? What does genuine humility look like in a child's world?
Well, it's about helping them be modest, certainly, not boastful, and helping them recognize that their talents and abilities are truly gifts, maybe from God, maybe nurtured by others, but not something they solely created out of nothing.
Acknowledging the source.
Yes. And it also helps them understand that it's perfectly okay not to be the best at everything, that there's always something valuable to learn from others, even from those who seem less capable in some areas.
Being open to learning.
Exactly. That analogy of a cup needing to be empty to be filled works really well here. Humility creates that essential space within us for God's grace, for knowledge, for wisdom to enter. It opens them up to learning and growth because they aren't constrained by pride or thinking they already know everything.
Pride closes the door.
Very much so. Humility is seen as a crucial spiritual virtue in the Baha'i teachings, directly contrasting with pride and ego, which are viewed as significant barriers to spiritual growth and connection with God. It allows for genuine receptivity to divine guidance and fosters a spirit of selfless service because you're not focused on your own glory.
Makes sense.
And it also plays a really practical role in fostering unity because it reduces competition and promotes mutual respect among individuals and groups. If everyone is humble, there's less striving against each other.
That's a powerful distinction. Humility fostering unity.
Finally, in this section, let's talk about gratitude. Quote 10, "Be thou happy, be thou grateful. Arise to render thanks unto God, that thy thankfulness may conduce to an increase of bounty." This is from Abdu'l-Bahá, found in Baha'i prayers.
This quote offers three interconnected commands, doesn't it? Outlining a profound spiritual pathway.
Happy, grateful, thankful.
Exactly. Be thou happy suggests cultivating that inner state of spiritual contentment, an active choice for joy, as we discussed earlier. Then, be thou grateful encourages an attitude of profound appreciation for all blessings, big and small.
An attitude of appreciation.
And finally, arise to render thanks unto God. That's the active manifestation of that gratitude. Through prayer, through service, through living a virtuous life. It's gratitude in action.
And the powerful consequence, the outcome, is revealed in that final phrase, that thy thankfulness may conduce to an increase of bounty. This teaches that gratitude isn't just, a polite response after receiving something.
More than just saying thank you.
Much more. It's presented as a spiritual law that actively attracts more blessings and further opens the channels of divine grace. So the aha moment is realizing gratitude is less about acknowledging what you already received and more about activating the flow of further blessings into your life.
Gratitude attracts more bounty. This is so practical for children. We can teach them to actively identify things to be happy and grateful for, even the small everyday blessings. A sunny day, a good meal, a kind friend, having a home.
The simple things we often overlook.
Exactly. We can encourage them to express thanks, not just with words, but also through prayer, maybe drawing a picture for someone they're thankful for, or doing a kind deed as a way of showing thanks.
Making gratitude active.
And this practice also helps counteract any sense of entitlement, doesn't it? By fostering a deep appreciation for everything they have, rather than focusing on what they don't.
A very important counterbalance in today's world.
I like to use the analogy of watering a plant. Gratitude helps our blessings grow and flourish. It makes us more aware of the abundance that's actually already in our
That's
lives.
a lovely analogy. Gratitude is truly a cornerstone of spiritual life in the Baha'i faith. It's about acknowledging God as the ultimate source of all good things. It profoundly transforms one's perspective, shifting the focus from perceived lack or scarcity to an awareness of abundance and divine generosity.
Changing our lens.
Yes. It
Yeah.
connects directly to the understanding of spiritual sustenance and constant divine care, which raises an important question. How can we make gratitude a consistent, conscious practice in our own lives, transforming it from just a fleeting emotion into a powerful force that continually unlocks further blessings? And how do we teach our children to do the same? For children, practical ideas like creating a gratitude jar, where they write down things they're thankful for each day, or starting a daily family gratitude practice at dinner time. These can help them recognize the countless bounties flowing into their lives, moment by moment.
It's clear that these qualities, when cultivated, create such a rich inner life and an outward disposition that actually draws more blessings. Moving on, our next section delves into forgiveness, mercy, and honesty in speech. Okay, quote 11 says, "Let your adorning be forgiveness and mercy, and that which cheereth the hearts of the well-favored of God." This is from Baha'u'llah's Gleanings.
The term adorning here is really key, isn't it?
Adorning, like decoration?
Exactly. But it signifies that these virtues, forgiveness and mercy, are our true beauty. They're far more valuable and lasting than any outward ornamentation, like fancy clothes or jewelry.
Inner beauty over outer.
Precisely. Forgiveness means actively releasing anger, letting go of grudges, choosing understanding over retaliation. Mercy is about showing compassion, giving second chances, actively alleviating suffering where we can.
Okay, forgiveness and mercy as adornments.
And then there's the phrase, that which cheereth the hearts of the well-favored of God. This means these actions, forgiveness, mercy, and other kind deeds, bring joy and spiritual upliftment, specifically to those individuals who strive to live virtuous lives and feel a deep connection to God.
So these actions please God and good people.
That's the implication.
Yeah.
It indicates their profound importance, not just for our own personal peace, but for the collective spiritual harmony of our communities. The deeper insight, maybe, is that our true spiritual bling, if you will, isn't what we wear, but how we act with compassion and forgiveness.
Spiritual bling. I like that. This is such a vital lesson for children, isn't it? They often struggle with conflict and hurt feelings in their friendships.
Absolutely. Learning to navigate conflict is a huge part of growing up.
So they need to learn to forgive friends for small offenses, to understand that everyone makes mistakes, including themselves. Showing mercy. Maybe that's as simple as not holding grudges after an argument or choosing not to seek revenge when someone has upset them.
Resisting that impulse to hit back.
Right. How do we make the connection for them between their kind words and actions and actually cheering the hearts of others? Especially when someone is sad or struggling, how do they see their actions have that positive ripple effect?
It's about helping them see the direct impact of their choices. We can teach them how their kind words, "Are you okay?" "I was unkind, what happened to you?" and their actions sharing a treat, including someone in the game, can actively make others feel good, feel seen, feel cared for.
Making the invisible visible.
Yes, especially when someone is sad or struggling. These are concrete ways they can cheer the hearts of those around them, becoming sources of comfort and happiness. Forgiveness and mercy are held as divine attributes in the Baha'i faith, qualities that humanity must strive to embody.
Striving to be like God in that way.
Exactly. They're absolutely essential for reconciliation, for healing divisions, whether small or large, and for building true unity. This teaching profoundly emphasizes inner beauty and spiritual character as the highest, most enduring form of adornment.
It really shifts the focus.
Which leads to the question, how can we consistently embody forgiveness and mercy, even when it feels incredibly challenging or unjust? Recognizing their immense power to transform relationships and foster unity in a world that's often deeply divided. For children, using role-playing scenarios can be really effective. How to apologize sincerely, how to accept an apology with an open heart, how to offer comfort to a friend who is hurting. These activities help build those crucial emotional and spiritual muscles.
Practicing these virtues. Such powerful tools for mending relationships and building harmony. Now let's talk about how we use our words. Words can be both a source of healing and, unfortunately, a source of harm. Quote 12. Beautify your tongues, O people, with truthfulness, and adorn your souls with the ornament of honesty. This is from Abdu'l-Bahá, cited by Shoghi Effendi.
This quote builds beautifully on our earlier discussions of truthfulness, but extends it specifically to communication, to speech.
Beautify your tongues.
Yes. To beautify your tongues with truthfulness means our speech should always be honest, pure, free from falsehoods, but also free from things like backbiting, gossip, or hurtful words. Our words should reflect reality, yes, but also convey respect and kindness.
So truthfulness isn't just accuracy, it's also purity of speech.
Exactly. Furthermore, to adorn your souls with the ornament of honesty expands this virtue beyond just spoken words to encompass one's entire character and integrity. Honesty isn't just about telling the truth in a specific moment, it's about living truthfully, where one's inner being is congruent with one's outward actions and expressions.
Living truthfully.
Being genuine and trustworthy at every level. The profound takeaway here might be that words aren't just carriers of information, they are expressions of our deepest character. And when they are truthful and kind, they become a form of beauty.
That's a beautiful idea, that truthful words are beautiful in themselves. This is such a direct teaching for children on the importance of telling the truth with their words.
Very direct.
It helps them understand that what they say has real power. It can either help someone feel good or hurt them deeply. It also connects the idea of honest words to being an honest person overall, reinforcing that their character is reflected in how they speak.
The tongue reveals the heart.
Think of it like a beautiful song or a compelling story. Truthful, kind words are pleasing to hear, they build trust, and they create a positive atmosphere around them.
Indeed. This quote reinforces the paramount importance of truthfulness, specifically extending it to verbal communication, a critical area for human interaction. It emphasizes that profound link between inner character, the soul, and its outward expression, the tongue.
The connection is explicit.
And the Baha'i teachings strongly condemn things like backbiting and calumny, spreading harmful gossip, or lies, viewing them as spiritual diseases that actively destroy unity and sow discord. So, truthful and pure speech becomes an essential spiritual practice.
An active practice, not just avoiding bad things.
Yes, which raises an important question for today. In a world saturated with misinformation, negativity, and divisive rhetoric, how can we consistently beautify our tongues with truthfulness and model honest, constructive communication for the next generation, making our words truly reflective of our highest values?
A challenge for all of us.
We can discuss with children the difference between, say, a white lie intended to avoid minor awkwardness and a truly harmful lie. But more importantly, focus on how to speak truth kindly and constructively, even when delivering difficult news or feedback.
Truth with kindness. The power of our words is immense, and it's a lesson that begins in childhood but remains crucial for building a healthy society. Let's move into section 6, which focuses on justice, love, and contentment in action. Okay, our next quote. Quote 13 offers this magnificent vision. The kingdom of God is founded upon equity and justice, and also upon mercy, compassion, and kindness to every living soul. This is from Abdu'l-Bahá.
This quote provides a really profound and expansive vision of what the kingdom of God entails. In the Baha'i understanding, this refers both to a spiritual state of being, an inner reality, and also to a future world order, a transformed society.
Both inner and outer.
Yes. And it asserts that this kingdom is founded upon equity and justice. These are the indispensable structural pillars, the essential laws and principles that establish order and fairness.
The foundation, like we discussed earlier with justice.
Exactly. But crucially, it doesn't stop there. It also declares it's built upon mercy, compassion, and kindness to every living soul. These are the nurturing elements, the qualities that ensure warmth, empathy, care.
Heart elements.
You could say that. And notice the scope to every living soul, extending beyond just humanity to encompass all creation.
Wow, all living things.
What's truly fascinating here is how it beautifully blends that structural, almost legalistic justice with heartfelt compassion. It indicates that one without the other is incomplete. Justice provides the necessary framework, but love provides the soul, the animating spirit. One cannot truly flourish without the other.
Justice needs love, and love needs justice. I'm really struck by that idea of them being two sides of the same coin for truly divine order. For children, though, How do we explain this grand concept of the kingdom of God in a way that's relatable? And how do we teach them to extend kindness beyond just other people to every living soul, like animals and plants?
Well, it helps to simplify the kingdom of God maybe as a truly good world. The kind of world God wants for us where everyone and everything is treated with respect and care.
A kind and fair world.
Exactly. This means teaching them practical kindness to animals, feeding a pet, being gentle, caring for plants, watering them, not damaging them, and of course being gentle and considerate with other people, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life.
Seeing everything is connected.
Yes, it fosters a deep sense of empathy for those who are struggling, whether it's a classmate having a hard time with a stray animal, or even people they hear about who are suffering in faraway lands. It's about cultivating a universal sense of care.
Expanding their circle of compassion.
And this quote offers that comprehensive vision for a just and compassionate world, which is a core Baha'i ideal. It elegantly integrates justice with love, showing that true justice must be tempered and animated by compassion, and that love requires the structure of justice to thrive and be effective.
A beautiful balance.
And crucially, as we noted, it expands the scope of our concern to every living soul, highlighting the Baha'i principles of environmental stewardship and universal interconnectedness. Which raises the question, how can we in our daily lives actively weave together both justice and compassion in our interactions, ensuring our pursuit of fairness is always infused with kindness? For children, we can discuss concrete ways they can show kindness to all living things. Maybe it's being gentle with insects instead of squashing them, or helping to pick up litter to care for the environment, or comforting a lonely classmate on the playground.
Making it real for them. It's truly a holistic view of building a beautiful world, isn't it? Next, quote 14. Know that thy true adornment consisteth in the love of God, and in thy detachment from all, save him, from Baha'u'llah's tablets.
This quote powerfully reiterates that theme we touched on earlier. Our true adornment, our real beauty, is not found in outward appearance or material possessions.
Not the external stuff.
No, it's found in inner spiritual qualities. Specifically here, the love of God is presented as the highest form of love, a profound spiritual yearning and devotion that draws us closer to our Creator.
Okay, the love of God.
And the second part, detachment from all save him. This needs careful understanding. It doesn't mean abandoning the world or neglecting our responsibilities. That's a common misunderstanding.
Right, not becoming a hermit.
Not at all. Instead, it means not being enslaved by material possessions, by fleeting worldly desires, or by our own ego. It's about prioritizing spiritual reality over transient material concerns. Understanding that true, lasting fulfillment comes from our connection with the divine, not from accumulating things or status.
Freedom from attachment.
Exactly. The profound insight here is that detachment isn't about absence or deprivation. It's about a fundamental reordering of our priorities. It sets the spirit free to truly love God above all else.
That distinction between abandonment and just reordering priorities is so important, especially for navigating our modern, very materialistic world. How can we make this concept of detachment relatable for children? They're often naturally drawn to toys and possessions. And how do we teach them about loving God in a way they can understand and practice day to day?
It is a more abstract concept for children, definitely. But we can make it relatable. It's about teaching them to love God through simple things, through prayer, through serving others, which is seen as service to God, and by trying to reflect His qualities like kindness, honesty, generosity in their own lives.
Loving God through action.
Yes. We can also help them understand that toys, clothes, video games, while sometimes fun, aren't the most important things in life. They don't bring lasting happiness.
Focusing on what truly matters.
I often use an analogy like this. It's like loving a wonderful story more than the fancy cover of the book. It's about focusing on the spiritual message, the inner meaning, the substance, rather than being overly preoccupied with external appearances or possessions.
The substance over the surface.
Exactly. This teaching is central to mystical and spiritual advancement in the Baha'i faith. Detachment is seen as a crucial virtue that frees the soul from worldly attachments, allowing it to soar to higher spiritual realms and truly focus on its divine purpose. It's about connecting that inner devotion to God with outer service to humanity, recognizing that one fuels the other.
Inner fuels outer.
Which brings up the question, how can we cultivate true detachment in ourselves and our children in such a consumer-driven world? helping everyone find deeper joy in spiritual values rather than the constant pursuit of material acquisition.
A constant challenge.
We can explore what it truly means to love God in a child's everyday life. Perhaps it's through acts of kindness they do, appreciating the beauty of nature as God's creation, or finding moments of quiet reflection and simple prayer.
Making that love tangible. And finally, in this section, we talk about the source of true glory. Quote 15, "The source of all glory is acceptance of whatsoever the Lord hath bestowed, and contentment with that which God hath ordained." Also from Bahá'u'lláh's tablets.
This quote defines the source of all glory, meaning true honor, spiritual distinction, as deriving from two interconnected qualities.
Acceptance and contentment.
Yes. First, acceptance of whatsoever the Lord hath bestowed. This refers to a profound resignation to divine will, a deep trust in God's underlying wisdom and plan, even when circumstances are difficult, painful, or just plain confusing.
Trusting even when it's hard.
And second, contentment with that which God hath ordained. This signifies an inner peace and satisfaction with one's circumstances, whatever they may be. Being free from constant complaint, from covetousness, always wanting what others have, from that restless yearning for more and more.
Inner peace regardless of outer circumstances.
Exactly. These qualities together foster a deep sense of peace and trust. The aha moment here is realizing that true glory, true spiritual nobility, isn't about worldly achievement or accumulating possessions, but about achieving an inner spiritual state of peace, acceptance, and trust that fundamentally transforms our entire experience of life.
That idea of true glory coming from acceptance and contentment is such a valuable lesson for emotional and spiritual well-being, isn't it? But for children, how do we cultivate this? Especially in a world that constantly encourages striving for more, comparing ourselves to others, feeling like we never have enough.
It's a powerful countercultural lesson for children, learning to be happy with what they have, rather than always wanting more, or comparing themselves to friends who might have different toys or clothes.
Shifting focus from lack to abundance.
Yes. And it's also about accepting situations they genuinely cannot change, like a rainy day that cancels a planned picnic, or maybe not being chosen for a team. This practice helps teach resilience and cultivates a positive outlook, focusing on what is possible rather than what isn't.
Building resilience.
I sometimes use the analogy of a puzzle piece. Each piece fits perfectly where it's meant to be in the grand design. Accepting your place, your circumstances, and what you have, knowing it's part of a bigger, wise plan, brings a profound sense of peace.
Finding peace and acceptance.
For Baha'i, this quote instills that deep trust in divine providence and wisdom, providing strength and comfort, especially during difficult times. Contentment serves as a powerful antidote to materialism and spiritual dissatisfaction. It encourages a focus on inner spiritual wealth rather than purely external possessions or achievements.
Inner wealth.
It's a pathway to inner peace and steadfastness in faith, enabling one to navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with more grace and equilibrium, which raises the question, how can we practically cultivate contentment and acceptance in a world that constantly bombards us with messages encouraging striving for more? And how can we teach children to find joy even when plans change or things don't go exactly as expected? We can discuss finding joy in simple moments, the comfort of home, the warmth of family, the beauty of a sunset, a shared laugh, things that cost nothing but are deeply valuable.
Such valuable lessons for emotional and spiritual well-being. Let's move into section 7, which focuses on universal kindness and spiritual strength. Okay, our next quote is, quote, 16, "Blessed is he who mingleth with all men in a spirit of utmost kindliness and love." This is from Abdu'l-Bahá's selections.
Mingleth with all men. The word mingle implies actively interacting, mixing, engaging with everyone.
Not staying separate.
Exactly. Regardless of their background, their belief system, their social status, or any other perceived differences, it's really an injunction against isolation and prejudice. It's a call to bridge divides, not build walls.
Okay.
But the critical qualifier is how we mingle, in the spirit of utmost kindliness and love. This means approaching all human interactions with the highest possible degree of compassion, respect, and sincere affection.
Utmost kindliness and love. That's a high bar.
It is. It's not just about tolerating others from afar. It's about actively seeking to understand, to connect, and to build bridges of genuine love with every single soul we encounter. The deeper insight here might be that true unity isn't achieved through passive acceptance. It requires active, loving engagement with the full, beautiful, complex spectrum of humanity.
Active, loving engagement. That's a striking image as the path to true unity. For children, though, how do we teach this kind of radical inclusivity? Especially when they might naturally form cliques or feel wary of kids who seem different from them. What does mingling with all actually look like in a schoolyard or a neighborhood setting?
Well, it means actively encouraging them to make friends with children who might look different, speak differently, or have different interests. It means teaching them to welcome new kids into their play group, making sure no one feels left out.
Being intentionally inclusive.
Yes. Being inclusive in all their activities. It helps them overcome natural shyness or apprehension when meeting new people. It nurtures a global outlook from a young age, a deep sense of belonging to one single human family. It's a practical way to live that core principle of the unity of mankind right from the start.
Living the principle daily.
This quote is such a direct and powerful application of that Baha'i principle of the unity of mankind and the necessity of eliminating all forms of prejudice. Active, loving engagement with diverse people is considered a core Baha'i practice. It's fundamental to fostering understanding, dismantling barriers, and building true universal brotherhood. It calls for an outward expression of our inner love for all.
Outward expression of inner love.
Which raises an important question for all of us. How can we, in our increasingly diverse communities, consistently and sincerely mingle with all people in a spirit of utmost kindliness and love, thereby actively contributing to the breakdown of societal divisions and fostering genuine human connection, one interaction at a time? We can discuss with children practical ways they can be welcoming, maybe smiling at someone new in their class, inviting someone sitting alone to join their game, or learning a few words of greeting in another language spoken in their neighborhood, ensuring no one feels like an outsider.
Small acts, big impact. This truly embodies the spirit of unity and breaks down those barriers. Next, quote 17. The source of courage and power is the promotion of the word of God and steadfastness in his love. This is from Bahá'u'lláh's tablets.
What does it mean to truly stand firm, to have real courage? This quote pinpoints the source, the wellspring, of genuine inner strength.
Where does it come from?
It's found not in worldly might or personal ego or physical strength, but in two things. First, actively sharing profound spiritual truths, what Baha'is call the Word of God or divine teachings for this day. And second, maintaining an unwavering, steadfast devotion to God, the ultimate source of love.
Sharing truth and staying devoted.
Yes, this dual commitment provides an unshakable foundation, helping us navigate any challenge, any opposition, any difficulty. The aha moment here is realizing that courage, true spiritual courage, isn't necessarily an absence of fear. No, it's more about an active alignment with divine principles, drawing strength from a source far greater and more enduring than ourselves, even while feeling fear.
Drawing strength from a higher source, that's a powerful connection between actively sharing spiritual truths and finding inner courage. For children, how do we help them find the courage to do the right thing, especially when it might be hard or unpopular among their friends? And how can they understand the Word of God in a way that truly gives them that inner strength?
It helps children find the courage to stand up for what's right, even if it means standing alone sometimes or going against the crowd. It teaches them that their spiritual beliefs, their connection to God and divine principles can provide them with incredible inner strength, like a moral compass or a backbone.
A spiritual backbone.
Exactly. We can share stories from the history of their faith or from other traditions that exemplify courage and steadfastness in the face of adversity. Think of it like a strong tree with deep roots that steadfastness in its connection to the earth allows it to withstand fierce storms.
Deep roots in faith.
It's about building that inner strength through their connection to God and to principles they know deep down are true and right. In the Baha'i teachings, as we've mentioned, service to humanity is considered an act of worship, and teaching the faith, sharing these principles, is a high form of service.
Teaching as service.
This quote powerfully highlights the importance of active, dedicated participation in building a better world, emphasizing that faith is really demonstrated through action, not just belief. It directly links spiritual happiness to purposeful living and serving God's plan for humanity, which raises the question, how do we cultivate this spiritual courage and power in our daily lives? And how can we effectively transmit the Word of God, not just through words, but through our steadfast actions, becoming living examples of the principles we espouse?
Living the message.
We could discuss with children how they can show courage in school. Maybe it's standing up for someone being bullied, or admitting a mistake even if it means getting into trouble, or simply being true to their values when others are making different choices.
Everyday courage. That's a powerful connection between faith and action, equipping us to stand firm. Our final quote in this section, quote 18. Never lose thy trust in God. Be thou ever hopeful, for the bounties of God never cease to flow upon man. This is from a tablet of Abdu'l-Bahá.
This quote offers such profound encouragement and guidance, doesn't it?
It feels very comforting.
Never lose thy trust in God. That's call for unwavering faith, complete reliance on divine assistance, especially during moments of doubt, fear, or difficulty.
Hold on to trust.
Then be thou ever hopeful. This means actively maintaining an optimistic outlook, a positive expectation, even amidst trials, knowing deep down that dark times are temporary. And the reason for this hope, the foundation for it, is explicitly stated. For the bounties of God never cease to flow upon man. This expresses a fundamental belief in God's continuous sustenance, His infinite love, His constant showering of blessings upon humanity, whether we perceive them in the moment or not.
God's gifts are always flowing.
Exactly. The profound insight here is that hope isn't merely wishful thinking or a fleeting emotion. It's presented as a rational response, a logical consequence of the ceaseless, undeniable flow of divine grace and bounty.
Hope based on reality. That's incredibly helpful for children as they navigate disappointment or sadness, which are, inevitable parts of life. How do we teach them to actively look for the good in situations and to trust that even when things are tough, there's this constant underlying support system?
It teaches them to actively look for the good, even in difficult situations, to understand that challenges and difficulties are often temporary. It reinforces that comforting, empowering idea that God is always there to help and support them, even when things feel really tough or lonely.
God is always there.
I often use the analogy of the sun. It always shines, right? Even when thick clouds are covering it and we can't see it. God's love and bounties are constant like that, even when our immediate circumstances might obscure them from our view.
Behind the cloud.
This is a core teaching on divine providence and the critical importance of resilience and spiritual optimism. It actively counteracts despair and fosters spiritual fortitude, enabling individuals to endure hardship and actually grow through adversity. It connects to that deeper understanding that all things, even trials, contain hidden wisdom and blessings that ultimately contribute to our spiritual development.
Trials as opportunities.
Which raises the question, how can we consistently recognize and appreciate these never-ceasing bounties of God in our own lives? How can we transform our perspective even during challenging times? And how can we teach our children to cultivate this grateful and hopeful outlook? For children, maybe discussing some small, everyday bounties they can observe helps. The food on the table, the warmth of sunshine after rain, the hug from a parent, the presence of good friends. Helping them cultivate a habit of grateful observation makes hope feel more real.
That's a comforting and empowering thought, shifting our focus from scarcity to abundance. Now, let's dive into our penultimate section, focusing on trustworthiness and enkindled hearts. Okay, our next quote is, quote 19, "Trustworthiness is the greatest portal leading unto the tranquility and security of the people." This is from Bahá'u'lláh, in a compilation on trustworthiness.
This statement powerfully declares that trustworthiness is the greatest portal. The greatest, meaning it's the most significant gateway, the main entrance to a highly desired state.
Then what's that state?
The tranquility and security of the people. This refers to profound peace, safety, stability, not just for isolated individuals, but for society as a whole, collective well-being.
Peace and safety for everyone.
And trustworthiness here is presented as a really comprehensive virtue. It encompasses honesty, yes, but also fidelity, keeping promises, reliability, being dependable, and integrity in all our dealings, financial and otherwise.
It's multifaceted.
Very much so. The quote suggests that a society built on a foundation of trust is inherently stable and peaceful, whereas one lacking trustworthiness will always be in turmoil, characterized by suspicion and conflict. What's truly illuminating here, I think, is that direct link made between an individual virtue being trustworthy and the collective societal well-being. Trustworthiness isn't just a personal ethic, it's positioned as a foundational pillar of civilization itself.
Wow. Individual actions building societal peace. I'm really struck by that connection, expert, between an individual virtue and the collective well-being of society. For children, how do we illustrate the critical importance of trustworthiness in their everyday interactions and teach them how this virtue truly impacts the tranquility and security of their own small world, their classroom, their family, their friendships?
Well, it's actually a very tangible concept for children, even if the societal implication is bigger. They can understand trustworthiness through simple, concrete actions,
Like what?
like keeping promises they make to friends, being reliable when asked to do a chore at home, being honest with borrowed items, returning a toy they borrowed in good condition.
Basic dependability.
Exactly. It teaches them that when people are trustworthy, everyone feels safer, happier, more secure. Whether it's trusting a parent to pick them up or trusting a friend not to tell a secret, we can discuss how trust is built slowly, piece by piece, like building with blocks,
Built block by block.
but also how easily it can be broken by just one untruthful or unreliable action, knocking the whole tower down. These early lessons in trustworthiness are crucial for their future relationships and for their understanding of how communities, large and small, function best.
Laying the groundwork for responsible citizenship.
And trustworthiness is presented as such a foundational virtue for all human interaction and societal functioning, echoing its importance in numerous Baha'i writings. It is absolutely essential for building a global community where nations and individuals can rely on each other, fostering an environment of cooperation rather than suspicion and fear.
Essential for global peace.
Which raises the question for us. In a world often characterized by skepticism, fake news, and broken promises, how can we consistently exemplify trustworthiness in our own lives? How can we become pillars of reliability to help build a more tranquil and secure society for all, starting right from our smallest interactions?
Walking the talk.
We can discuss examples of trust children encounter daily. Trusting a teacher to be fair, trusting a doctor to help them feel better, trusting that the bus driver knows the route, making those connections visible.
That's a powerful statement about the ripple effect of individual virtues on the whole of society. Now, quote 20, which seems to build on that concept of radiating goodness outwards. Be you enkindled, O people, with the heat of the love of God, that ye may enkindle the hearts of others. Also from Bahá'u'llah's tablets.
To be enkindled with the heat of the love of God. That's a call to be filled with a passionate, active, transformative divine love. It's not a lukewarm feeling. It's described as heat, like a burning fire within.
A passionate inner fire.
Yes, a dynamic spiritual state that naturally radiates outwards. And the purpose of this inner fire is then explicitly revealed, that ye may enkindle the hearts of others.
Spreading the fire.
Exactly. Transmitting this spiritual fervor, this divine love, to other people, inspiring them, awakening their own spiritual potential, sharing that contagious divine warmth. It's a clear call to share our spiritual light, not to hoard it for ourselves. The aha here is realizing that divine love isn't meant to be contained. It's designed to spread, to ignite a chain reaction of spiritual awakening in the world.
Love as a contagious fire for good. That radiating love as a force in the world is such an uplifting image. For children, how do we help them experience and understand this heat of the love of God in a tangible way? And how do we empower them to then enkindle the hearts of others through their own enthusiasm and positive actions?
Well, it's a beautiful way to talk about the joy they might feel in spiritual community or when they feel really connected to God through prayer or service. For children, it's about experiencing that sense of inner warmth and belonging.
That feeling of connection.
Yes, perhaps in their family life or maybe in a Baha'i children's class setting.
Yeah.
We can help them see how their own genuine enthusiasm and love for good things, like learning about virtues, helping others, sharing a positive story or a prayer they love, can truly inspire their friends and family.
Their enthusiasm is contagious.
It really is. It's just like that analogy of sharing a candle's flame. Your own light doesn't diminish at all by lighting another candle. It simply spreads, making the whole room brighter.
Sharing the light makes more light.
Precisely. The love of God is understood as the primary motivator for all Baha'i actions and service. It's the spiritual fuel that drives everything. This quote emphasizes the dynamic and expansive nature of spiritual growth. It's not just for oneself. It's intrinsically linked to sharing and uplifting others. The call to teach and share the Baha'i faith, to actively engage in spiritual education and community building, stems directly from this desire to share that enkindled love.
Sharing what you love.
Which leads to the question, how can we cultivate such a vibrant, burning love for God within ourselves that it naturally, almost effortlessly, overflows to enkindle the hearts of all those around us, becoming true beacons of hope and connection in our communities?
How to keep that fire burning bright.
We can discuss how children can share their happiness and enthusiasm about something good they learned, maybe their children's class, how telling a friend about it might inspire that friend to want to learn more too, spreading that spark.
That radiating love is a force for good in the world, a beautiful way to spread spiritual light. Let's move to our final section, divine reflection and purposeful service. Okay, our second to last section begins with, quote, 21. O Son of Being, thou art my lamp and my light is in thee. Get thou from it thy radiance and seek none other than me. This is from Baha'u'llah's The Hidden Words.
O Son of Being. Just stop and think about that address. It's profoundly intimate, incredibly powerful. It recognizes the divine essence, the intrinsic nobility within every single human being.
Seeing the divine in everyone.
Yes, then, thou art my lamp and my light is in thee. This teaches us that humanity itself is a vessel, a lamp, specifically designed to contain divine light. And crucially, this light isn't something external we need to acquire or earn. It's an innate spiritual capacity, a spark of the divine already present within each of us.
The light is already inside.
Exactly. So the instruction follows. Get thou from it thy radiance, and seek none other than me. This is a call to draw upon this inherent inner divine light for our spiritual glow, our fulfillment, our guidance, and not to seek ultimate satisfaction or purpose from purely worldly or material sources alone. Turn inward and upward.
Look within for the light.
The aha moment here, perhaps, is that our potential for reflecting divinity isn't some far-off future aspiration. It's presented as an inherent reality right now. And our life's purpose is, in a way, to simply turn on that inner switch and draw consciously from that divine source within.
That's a beautiful vision of human potential, that this divine light is already within us, waiting to be accessed. For children, how do we help them recognize this intrinsic worth and potential? How do they get their radiance from this inner light in their everyday lives? What does that look like?
It's about helping children recognize their own intrinsic worth and potential, letting them know that something incredibly special, God's light, is truly within them, part of who they are.
Building self-worth from a spiritual basis?
Yes. This encourages them to develop their good qualities, kindness, honesty, courage, knowing that these virtues are reflections, manifestations of that inner light. I often use the analogy of flashlight. It already has a bulb inside. You just need to turn it on and use it to illuminate the way forward. It's about empowering them to activate their own inner goodness.
Turning on their inner flashlight.
This is such a foundational teaching on the nobility of the human being and that divine spark residing within every individual. It emphasizes our individual responsibility to manifest virtues and to consistently turn to God as the ultimate source of all guidance, strength, and sustenance.
Our responsibility to shine.
And when we consider the grand narrative of human purpose, it's a powerful call to spiritual awakening and self-realization. Understanding that our connection with the divine begins with recognizing and consciously nurturing that divine light already placed within us, which raises the question for us. How do we consistently turn on and consciously let our light shine in our everyday actions, ensuring that we are drawing our radiance from that deep divine source rather than seeking external validation or fleeting worldly approval?
Where do we draw our energy from?
We can discuss specific ways children can let their light shine in their daily actions by being kind when others aren't, by being honest when it's easier to lie, by being helpful without being asked, showing that light through their character.
That's a powerful vision of human potential and purpose. Now, quote 22, happy is the faithful one who is attired with the vesture of high endeavor and hath arisen to serve this cause, also from Baha'u'llah's tablets.
Happy is the faithful one. Right away, it directly links spiritual happiness, true happiness, to faithful action and purpose, not just passive belief.
Happiness through action.
Yes, to be attired with the vesture of high endeavor. Vesture means clothing, so it's like being clothed in high endeavor. It means being actively engaged in noble, purposeful, dedicated effort, striving for excellence in all one's undertakings, not just doing the minimum.
Aiming high in our efforts.
To have arisen to serve this cause. This signifies active, dedicated participation in promoting the Baha'i teachings and contributing tangibly to the betterment of the world. The term "the cause" here broadly refers to God's divine plan for humanity's spiritual and social advancement in this age.
Serving God's plan.
It's a clear call to active service, understanding that true, deep, lasting joy comes from working for a greater good, for something beyond our own personal interests. The aha moment might be that happiness isn't just something you find passively. It's something you earn or achieve through purposeful, dedicated service.
Happiness is earned through service. That's a powerful motivator for positive action. For children, how do we introduce this profound joy of service, even in small, simple ways, and help them understand that their efforts, no matter how modest they seem, are part of this high endeavor to serve a greater cause?
Well, it teaches children the profound joy that comes from serving others, even in very small ways. It encourages them to strive for excellence in their actions. That's the high endeavor part, whether it's doing their homework well or being a good friend or helping out at home.
Doing their best in everything.
Yes, and using their talents and energies for good, not just for themselves. It connects their everyday actions to a greater purpose beyond themselves, helping them feel like they are part of something much bigger and more meaningful than just their own little world. They learn through experience that doing good deeds, serving others, brings a lasting kind of happiness.
Connecting actions to purpose.
In the Baha'i faith, as we've said, service to humanity is considered the highest form of worship. This quote powerfully highlights the importance of active, dedicated participation in building a new world order, emphasizing that faith is truly demonstrated through action. It directly links spiritual happiness to purposeful living and actively serving God's plan for humanity.
Faith through action brings happiness.
Which raises the question, how can we foster a spirit of high endeavor and dedicated service in children, ensuring they see their actions, no matter how small, as valuable contributions to a larger divine purpose and as a pathway to their own profound and lasting happiness?
How to inspire that spirit?
We can discuss simple acts of service a child can do, helping with chores at home without complaining, making a card for a sick neighbor, participating in a community cleanup project, picking up litter in the park, showing how these acts bring joy not only to the receiver, but also deeply to the giver.
The joy of giving back, such a powerful motivator for positive action. We've covered a lot of ground today, but there's still more to explore. Our very last section focuses on patience and steadfastness, virtues that sustain us, especially through challenges. Okay? Quote 23. He verily shall increase the reward of them that endure with patience. This is from Baha'u'llah's Gleanings.
Endure with patience. This implies more than just passively waiting around, doesn't it?
Yeah, endure sounds active.
It implies active resilience, perseverance, forbearance, especially when facing difficulties, challenges, or long delays. It's about maintaining one's efforts and spirit without giving in to complaint or discouragement, continuing to strive even when the path forward is long or unclear.
Keeping going even when it's tough.
Exactly. And the promise attached is significant. He verily shall increase the reward. This assures us that God acknowledges, values, and blesses those who patiently strive. That reward might be in this world or the next, or both.
God rewards patience.
Yes. The aha here is that patience isn't portrayed as a passive surrender to fate, or just gritting your teeth. It's presented as an active, powerful spiritual choice that directly amplifies spiritual reward and growth. Patience itself is strengthening.
That's a beautiful perspective on patience as an active choice that leads to greater reward. For children, though, how do we instill this crucial life skill? Learning to wait for things, completing tasks that are challenging, not giving up easily, especially in a world that often prizes instant gratification above all else.
It's such a crucial life skill for children to develop. It's about learning to wait their turn, maybe for a toy or a swing. It's about completing tasks that are challenging, like a difficult puzzle or homework assignment, even when they feel frustrated and want to give up.
Sticking with it.
Yes. And understanding that some good things in life simply take time and consistent effort to achieve. They don't happen instantly. I often use the analogy of planting a seed. You can't rush its growth, can you?
No, you just have to wait.
But with patient care, consistent watering, giving it sunshine, it will eventually blossom into something beautiful. Patience teaches them about the eventual rewards of perseverance.
The reward of waiting and working.
Patience is seen as a crucial virtue for spiritual growth and for navigating life's inevitable challenges with grace and dignity. It reflects a deep trust in God's divine plan and fosters the understanding that trials and difficulties aren't just obstacles. They can actually be opportunities for profound spiritual growth and refinement of character.
Seeing challenges differently.
And it's also essential for community building and working towards long-term collective goals. Significant positive change rarely happens overnight. It requires patient, persistent effort over time, which raises the question, how can we teach children to practice patience not as a burden, but as an active and empowering choice, one that leads to greater reward, inner peace, and ultimately strengthens their spiritual muscles for the long journey of life?
Patience as empowerment.
We can explore how children can practice patience in everyday situations, waiting for their turn in a game without complaining, working steadily on learning a new skill, like riding a bike or playing an instrument, showing them the tangible benefits of persistence over time.
Celebrating the small steps. That's a valuable reminder that patience is indeed an active and empowering choice. And our final quote for today, quote 24, emphasizes the profound importance of spiritual resilience, of staying the course. It reads, "Supremely lofty will be thy station, if thou remainest steadfast in the cause of thy Lord." Also from Bahá'u'llah's Gleanings.
This quote offers an immense promise, doesn't it? Supremely lofty will be thy station. That speaks of an exceptionally high spiritual rank, an elevated standing in the eyes of God, a truly profound destiny.
A high spiritual station.
But this profound spiritual reward is clearly conditional upon our actions. If thou remainest steadfast in the cause of thy Lord.
Conditional on steadfastness.
Yes. This signifies unwavering loyalty, unyielding perseverance, and dedicated commitment to the Baha'i faith and its teachings, what Baha'is refer to as the cause, especially in the face of opposition, ridicule, or personal difficulty. It's a call to lifelong, unshakable faith and consistent service.
Staying true through thick and thin.
Exactly. The aha here, perhaps, is that spiritual greatness isn't just bestowed arbitrarily. It's forged, strengthened, proven in the crucible of unwavering dedication and steadfastness, especially when faced with challenges or tests.
Forged in the fire of tests. That's a powerful statement about spiritual greatness being earned through unwavering dedication. For children, how do we help them understand the importance of sticking with what they believe is right, even when their friends might disagree, or when it's not the popular choice? What does steadfastness look like for a young person trying to live by these principles day by day?
Well, it helps children understand the importance of sticking with what they know deep down is right, even when friends might tease them or pressure them to do something else, even when it's not the easy or popular choice.
Standing firm in their values.
Yes. It encourages them to develop a strong personal connection to their faith and its principles, seeing it as their guiding star, their true north. Think of it like a ship needing a strong anchor to stay firmly in place during a storm. Steadfastness is that anchor for our souls.
The spiritual anchor.
It keeps them grounded and true to their spiritual path, even when the winds of peer pressure or life's difficulties push against them. Steadfastness is truly seen as a cornerstone of Baha'i identity and a key measure of spiritual maturity. It ensures the continuity and strength of the community, yes, but also provides the individual with an unshakable foundation for their own spiritual path.
Foundational for the individual and community.
And really connects all the virtues we've discussed today, doesn't it? A steadfast individual is one who strives to embody purity, justice, love, truthfulness, patience, and service consistently through all circumstances, good times and bad.
It ties everything together.
Which leads to a final question for reflection. How can we cultivate a deep and abiding steadfastness in our own spiritual beliefs and principles so that we can become, in our own way, a true lighthouse for good in our communities and the world, guiding others through our unwavering commitment and example?
Being a lighthouse.
We can discuss how children can show steadfastness in their everyday commitments, doing their homework consistently even when they don't feel like it, being kind to everyone every day, sticking to their chores, linking these small acts of consistent effort to the development of a strong, resilient, steadfast character. #outro.
So what does this all mean for us? Wow. We've journeyed through these incredibly profound quotes, originally presented, let's remember, in the Ruhi Book 3 coloring pages for children.
Amazing, isn't it?
It really is, and we've uncovered layers upon layers of meaning that are truly foundational for all of us, regardless of age. These virtues, from possessing that pure, kindly, and radiant heart, right through to cultivating unwavering steadfastness, they're not just abstract ideas on a page.
No, they're meant to be lived.
Exactly. They are the living, breathing principles that guide us toward a more spiritual, more united, and ultimately, I think, a more joyful and purposeful life.
Well said.
This deep dive marks the conclusion of our exploration of the main part of Ruhi Book 3, Teaching Children's Classes. We've truly seen how vital and rich this material is for nurturing the spiritual lives of the youngest members of our community, and frankly, for ourselves as we revisit these timeless truths.
It benefits the teachers as much as the students, always.
Absolutely. So if you found value in this deep dive or any part of our Book 3 series, please do remember to subscribe, maybe leave a comment, and share it with someone who you think might benefit. Your engagement really helps us reach more learners like you.
It really does make a difference.
And do consider joining our membership program if you're able, for things like early access or perhaps exclusive content down the line. And a huge, huge thank you to all of you who have already joined our memberships. Your support truly makes these detailed deep dives possible.
Yes, thank you all very much.
But wait, our Ruhi journey isn't quite over. Next week, we'll be continuing our exploration of these foundational principles by delving into the two branches of Book 3.
Ah, yes, the practical application.
Exactly, examining their practical application in even greater detail. So definitely stay tuned for that.
And perhaps as you reflect on all these powerful words we've discussed today, this raises one final important question for you to consider this week. How might living even one of these profound virtues more fully, more consciously, starting today? How might that transform not just a single moment in your day, but potentially shape a child's entire future? Or even contribute in some small way to the spiritual evolution of our world? It's certainly a thought to carry with you.